Hi, I'm Sheriff Ed McMahon. We have created a video to assist you as you apply for your pistol purchase permit. Please take a few minutes to watch this, and hopefully it will help you with any questions you may have.
Welcome to the New Hanover County Sheriff's website. We're going to be applying today for a pistol purchase permit. First, you will go to Google and type in New Hanover Sheriff.com. Once you reach that site, you'll see a picture of our sheriff on the screen. You will go to Policies, Permits, and Forms and click on Policies, Permits, and Forms. Once on that page, you will scroll down to where it says Weapons. You will click on Pistol Purchase Permits. You're now on the Pistol Purchase Permit page, and it gives you several pieces of information you want to read, and then you will go up to where it says Let's Get Started and click on Let's Get Started. It's going to have two pages of prompts that are going to ask you to agree. You will need to read that page and then click agree, and then move on to the next page and click agree once you've read it. And now you're on the gun permit online application. You will need to fill out your last name, your first, middle, and last name are requested. Your middle name, if you have a middle name, needs to be put in. If you have a social security number, you need to fill out your social security number. It is requested, not required. If you have a maiden name, we request that you put in the first, middle, and last name. So if your name was Sarah Jane Evans, you would type in Sarah Jane Evans if that was the name you were born with. If you have any aliases, we ask that you do the same, that you use all 3 to 4 names, however many names you have, when you put in the aliases. Next, you'll go to birth date. And you will put in 2 digits for month / 2 digits for actual day, and then / 4 digits for year. And you will put your age in. You put the city that you were born in, and you'll put the state. It's easiest to type in the first 2 digits of the state you were born. If it's North Carolina, type NO. And then it will bring a drop-down box. When you get to that drop-down box, scroll to the appropriate state and then hit enter. And then it asks what county you're born in. You'll type in the county. It'll ask what country you're born in, such as the United States. It may already put that up there. If you're born in another country, you will need to list that other country. And yet again, there will be a drop-down box for that one selection. They'll ask you your military status. If you're ever in the military, you need to select correct status. If you're never in the military, click NA. It'll next ask for your demographic information, such if you're a white male, white female, black male, Asian, click appropriately. It'll ask you your height. You'll put the 1 digit. If you are 5'8", you will put 2 digits, such as 08. If you are 5'11", you will put 5 in the first box and 11 in the second box. Your weight requires 3 digits, so if you're 98 pounds, you would put 098. If you are 250 pounds, you would put 250. Next, you go to hair color. You will put your hair color in appropriately, and eye color as well from those drop-down boxes. When it asks for physical description, it's asking if you're small, medium, or large. You will put that in. Next, it will ask you your telephone number, and you will type in your telephone number. And it will ask you your cell phone. You'll put in your cell phone number so that we can keep you updated and call you if we have any questions. The updates via text message are to help keep you informed of what's going on with your pistol purchase permit. Next, it asks you your driver's license number. If you have 4 digits or 5 digits that are zeros before the actual number begins, those are not required, but the actual hard numbers are required, such as if you had 000798456, you would put the 798456 in, not the zeros. Yet again, it's asking you this union state. Type in the first digits of the state, which should be, hopefully, North Carolina. If you have an out-of-state driver's license, you will need to get a North Carolina license before you can apply for this permit. You also hit enter instead of using your mouse to select it. Next, you put in your email. And you put it in both boxes. Next, you'll create a password, such as how they have listed the requirements for passwords. Then you will put your address of where you live and where you sleep at night. This also needs to be what is on your driver's license. If your driver's license does not match where you live, then you will need to update that before applying for this permit. You put in the city and the state. Yet again, there's a drop-down box. You can scroll through them and then hit enter so that it takes it. And then put in your zip code. You put the years that you've lived there, and then the months. If you've lived there 0 months, then 0 would go there. But you should have had some present amount of time for having lived at the address that you live at. Are you a resident of New Hanover County? If you live in New Hanover County, you will need to check that you're a resident of New Hanover County. If you live in Pender or Brunswick or another county that is not New Hanover, you need to apply in those counties for your pistol purchase permits. The sheriff is allowed to take in application and approve permits for people who are New Hanover County residents only. If you live in Pender County, make sure you apply there. If you live in Brunswick, make sure you apply there. How long have you lived in New Hanover? You will need to list that yet again. And it will ask you months. You need to fill out something in that box. If it's 0 months, then you need to put 0. If you have previous addresses, you will need to go to the address box, which is in blue, and add those addresses. Next, it requires that we ask you what reasons for the request for the gun permit: protection, collection, target shooting, or hunting. You can select any or all of those choices. You can also get as many pistol purchase permits as you want on this application. So if I want to get 15 pistol purchase permits, I can get 15 on one application. If you want to apply more than once, you can, but you can get as many permits as you want on one application, and they are good for 5 years. Next, it's asking you, are you lawfully in the United States? If you are a citizen of the U.S. and were born in this country, you need to check yes. If you are a permanent resident, then you need to check yes. If you are not here lawfully and you do not have legal status, you would check no, and you would stop your application now and not apply. Next question is, are you 18 years of age or older? You must be 18 years of age to receive this permit. 18-year-olds can go and buy handguns in personal sales. They cannot buy handguns from an FFL dealer, which is a federal licensed dealer. You must be 21 years of age to buy from a federal licensed dealer. The next question asks, are you ineligible, which means not eligible, to own, possess, or receive a firearm under provisions of state or federal law? This is an example of if you have been convicted of a felony and not received a federal firearms restoration, you would be in a disqualified status in the National Instant Criminal Background System, and would not be allowed to purchase a handgun or receive this permit. But if you are allowed to own or possess a firearm, you would check no and move on to the next question. Are you under indictment or have a finding of probable cause has been entered against you for a pending felony? This means that you either have been charged with a pending felony or been found to be under indictment and taken to grand jury for a felony charge. If you have either of these two restrictions, they are prohibitors and you need not apply. But if you do not have an indictment or a probable cause for a pending felony, click no and move on to your next question. Have you been adjudicated guilty in a court of a felony? If you have been found guilty of a felony and do not have a federal firearms restoration or an expungement, then you do not need to apply if you've been found guilty of that felony. If you do have a federal firearms restoration or an expungement, you can apply and you'll need to submit that paperwork to the permit office. Yet again, if you have not been found guilty, click no and move on to the next question. Are you a fugitive from justice, which means do you have warrants against you that are outstanding, and are you on the run from the law, which means you're actively avoiding trying to take care of your criminal matters. If you are a fugitive from justice, do not apply. If you are not, click no and move on to the next question. Are you an unlawful user addicted to marijuana, depressants, stimulants, narcotic drugs, or other controlled substances as defined in 21 U.S.C. 802? If you are an unlawful user, do not apply. If you are not an unlawful user, click no and move on to the next question. Have you ever been adjudicated mentally incompetent or been committed to a mental institution? If you have ever received an involuntary commitment and then a mental adjudication, you need not apply. If you have not been found mentally incompetent or committed to a mental institution, click no and move on to the next question. Have you ever been discharged from the U.S. Armed Forces under dishonorable conditions? If you've been discharged under dishonorable conditions from the U.S. military, then you need not apply. If you have not been discharged under dishonorable conditions, then click no and move on to the next question. Have you ever renounced your U.S. citizenship? If you have renounced your U.S. citizenship, then you need not apply. If you have never done this, then you click no and move on to the next question. Are you currently subject to a court order that restrains you from harassing, stalking, or threatening an intimate partner or child of an intimate partner, or engaging in other conduct that would place an intimate partner in reasonable fear or bodily injury to the partner or child? This is in reference to North Carolina General Statute 50B, which is asking whether or not you have a North Carolina Domestic Violence Protective Order against you. If you have a Domestic Violence Protective Order against you, do not apply. Take care of your issue first and move on to the next question. If you have not gotten a Domestic Violence Protective Order against you, you'd click no if you have not. If you do, do not apply. Are you currently under any type of probation or parole? If you are on active probation, which means supervised or unsupervised probation, such as people receive a DWI and get 12 months unsupervised probation for it, that is still active probation and a prohibitor. So if you are not on probation or parole, click no and move forward with your application. Are you a U.S. citizen? If you are a U.S. citizen, click yes and move on to the bottom of the page. If no, you are not, but you are a permanent resident, then you will fill this out appropriately and put in your INS number and your permanent resident number. If you are a U.S. citizen, naturalized, or born here, you will fill out your initials and proceed to checkout. You will put your name as it appears on your card. And of course, a 16-digit card number. In the expiration portion, you will put a 2-digit month followed by a 2-digit year. There's no slashes. It will not accept it if you put a slash or try to put a 4-digit in. Next, it asks for the security code. On the back of your card is a 3-digit security code, and you will put that in. Then it asks for the zip code. Zip code needs to be where you receive mail for that account. Either that credit card account or that debit account is the zip code you need to put in. And then you will hit confirm payment, and it should submit it and send you a email and a phone call telling you that you have submitted your application. Thank you for applying with us at the New Haven County Sheriff's Office.